One of the most confusing things in life is to look at the one person you never thought would hurt you. To look at the one person you never thought would turn their back on you the way they did. To look at the person you never thought would betray your trust in some way. To look at the person you trusted, the person you were vulnerable with, the person you opened up to, the person you showed your heart to and your soul to, and to see that that person is no longer the whole of who they are. Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Beyond Words with me, Nejwa Zabian. I've always been a firm believer in the power of words to heal what they didn't break and to break what they had no right in breaking. And today's episode is a very, very, very special one to me, and I know it will be very special to you. This episode is inspired by a truth that came to me years ago. Almost a decade ago. And since that day, it completely changed my life. It transformed the way I looked at my relationships with everyone in my life. It transformed the way I looked at closure. And it transformed the way that I looked at moving on and moving forward with my life and no longer defining myself by what happened to me. And this truth is, the one who broke you can't heal you. You know this deep in your bones. You cannot find the cure in the poison. You cannot find your medicine in the place that gave you something to heal from in the first place. You think the only way I can move on is if this person admits what they did, apologizes for it, validates the pain that they put me through, or if I see them suffer in some way, then I will get my vindication. I will feel like life is fair again. But the truth is, you never needed their apology. You never needed them to come to you and acknowledge what they did. You never needed them to come and give you closure and tell you, this is why I did to you what I did. You never needed them to suffer the way they made you suffer so that you could feel better about the whole situation, or that life has dealt its fairness, or that they got their karma. You never needed any of that. You only needed one thing, and that was your own self, your own apology to yourself, your own validation that you actually went through what you went through. Why do you need the person who broke you into pieces to come to you and say, it's true, I broke you into pieces? Are you not in pieces? Are you not the one who went through the moment when they betrayed you, when they turned their back on you, when they cheated on you, when they lied to you, when they lied about you, when they assassinated your character? Are you not the one who went through that? So why do you wait for the person who did that to you to come and say, it's true, that's what you went through? Are you not the one who lived through it? Does that not mean that you are the one who has the power to validate for yourself that you went through it? And you know the answer to that question. But I understand the longing for that person who you never thought would hurt you in that way to come to you and say, I know what I did and I'm sorry, and I know what I put you through, and I know how hard that must have been on you, and I know I was being terrible and awful to you. I know I treated you badly. I know I should have treated you better. I understand wanting that. It's a basic human need. We want to be seen in our struggle, especially by the people we cared about the most and by the people that we thought cared about us the most. One of the most confusing things in life is to look at the one person you never thought would hurt you, to look at the one person you never thought would turn their back on you the way they did, to look at the person you never thought would betray your trust in some way, to look at the person you trusted, the person you were vulnerable with, the person you opened up to, the person you showed your heart to and your soul to, and to see that that person is no longer the whole of who they are. Now there's another person that's on top of them. One that hurt you, one that lied to you, one that cheated on you, one that betrayed your trust, one that did the thing you never thought they would do. And it's the same person. And you're looking at them and you're so confused at how both people could be the same person when the one that you were bonded to, that you had a connection with, was the one that they showed you they were for the longest time. But it's like that version of them is still there and you're still bonded to them and you can't let go, but they're hiding beneath the new version of themselves that they revealed to you. The version of themselves that had the audacity to hurt you in the way that they did. The version of you that went back on the promises they made to you. The version of them that showed you that no matter what, they had your back. You're looking at them. You see both conflicting truths and you don't know how to just let that person go. Because there's a part of you that's still bonded to the older version of them, hoping that that version will come back to the surface. And I have some really tough news for you. You cannot unlearn the truth about a person after they've revealed it to you. You can't say to yourself, they lied, but like if I forget about it, then I can see them the way I used to see them before. You're living in denial in that way. They broke my heart, but if I could just overcome this on my own and maybe read a self-help book or listen to a podcast or do some inner work on my insecurities, maybe I can overlook that and I can continue to see them that way. It's like you cracked an egg and you're telling yourself, if I ignore the fact that I actually cracked it, it dropped and it's now open and there's little pieces of the shell everywhere, then it'll be like that egg is still whole. But you know the truth. Sometimes what someone chooses to do to us is irreversible. Just because we don't want that to be the truth, it doesn't mean that there is a universe where that truth doesn't exist anymore. When Maya Angelou said, when someone shows you who they are, believe them, that didn't come out of nowhere. It's one of the most universal truths to live by. However, one of the most difficult things in life is to look at the person who hurt you and say, I now see you for who you are. Thank you for showing me who you are. Do you know how hard it is to do that? Because you're looking at someone who, for 100 different times, did the right thing. For 100 different times, was honest with you. 100 different times showed up for you. 100 different times made on their promises. 100 different times validated you. 100 different times was present and loving and caring, and they were who they showed you they were. And now they did this really big, hurtful thing that stands against those 100 times. And you're all of a sudden supposed to say, now I see you for who you are? Because who you were before was completely different. So how do I just look at the one terrible thing you did and say, I now see you for who you are, when I see all the other past times that you were exactly who you wanted me to think you were? It's very, very conflicting. So I need you to honor that within you and never look at yourself and say that your inability to see someone for who they are means that you're weak or that something is wrong with you or that you're stupid. We are throwing all that language out in the trash because that's where it belongs. You need to be for yourself the loving, caring, compassionate force that in a moment when someone goes back on who they've shown you they were for the longest time, sits with you and says, this is really confusing. I understand why you're feeling so conflicted. You have such a strong bond with this person, and now all of a sudden they've done this thing that makes you question whether that bond even ever existed, whether they ever existed the way that they showed you they were before. That's really hard. Let's take some time with that. I'm getting goosebumps saying it. So imagine saying that to yourself in a moment when someone shocks you with something you never thought they would do. They break the trust you thought you had with them. They break the beautiful connection you thought you had with them. They break the image of the future you thought you had with them, not just romantically. This is with friends. It's with family. And the reason I keep repeating that is heartbreak doesn't just exist with someone we love in a romantic way. Sometimes the worst heartbreaks happen with people who are our friends, our colleagues, people we thought were on our side, our family members, people we thought would never walk away from our life, or people who we never thought would do the thing that would finally push us away from them. When you sit with yourself during those tough moments, when someone breaks you in such a way that is so confusing, it's like one of those things where one of the analogies I always use is it's like somebody hit you with a big mountain on your head. For a while, you're going to be like, what just happened? It's not just that somebody went like this to you or to your heart. And if you're listening to this, I'm showing you, it's not like somebody just kind of tapped you on the hand in a way. It's like somebody genuinely did something where it felt like you were taken out of your current reality. It shocked you in such a way that you never saw it coming. It's like when you're standing on the side of the street and it's not even raining, it's sunny. And all of a sudden you get splashed with a puddle of water because a car drove by. Like it's just something that you never saw coming. And everything around you, all the evidence around you showed you that there's no reason for you to be worried. You've been through those moments. I want you, if you haven't already, I'm sure you have, but I want you to go back to one moment in your life when, and I know this is really hard, like I'm getting emotional thinking about it because we all have those moments. I want you to think back to a moment when you discovered something that you, not in a million years, saw coming. It could be that you discovered that certain people in your life who care for you a certain way were actually doing the complete opposite behind your back. They were speaking nicely to your face, but behind your back, they were being the most venomous people you've ever met. It could be that someone you've been with for years has been cheating on you the entire time. It could be that your family who's been putting on a show of being so supportive of everything you're doing, when you're not in the room, they talk about all the ways they're ashamed of you or how they think that this is all coming from a place of insecurity. And I can guarantee, without even knowing who you are, where you're from, what your life experience has been, that in those moments when you actually made that really heartbreaking discovery, you felt like your heart was going to leave your body. You were shaking so much. And because that moment was so terrifyingly painful, you pushed it away for so long. Because you never wanted to believe it. And you started looking for evidence that maybe you were wrong about that moment. And you started looking for the reason. Why did you hurt me in that way? Maybe if I know why you hurt me, we can move on from it. Maybe if I know where all of those ugly words that you said about me came from, then I can explain myself to you in some way and we can move forward from that. Maybe. I'm going to hit you with the hard truth, okay? Closure is a myth. Closure comes to you like this illusion that says, if you know why they did the thing they did, if you know why they hurt you, you'll be able to move on faster. Closure is a myth. Even if that person who broke you sat down with you and said, this is why I did what I did. This is why I turned my back on you. This is why I manipulated you. This is why I used you. This is why I cheated on you. This is why. Does that take away from the pain they inflicted upon you? This is a very graphic analogy, but if somebody stabbed you in the back, metaphorically, literally, would you say that the explanation for why they stabbed you takes away from the fact that you still have a knife in your back? Or the fact that you need to get medical help? Or the fact that you need to get therapy? Or the fact that you need to sit with the pain of having someone who you trusted so much to allow them behind your back? And instead of embracing you, they chose to backstab you. It's like you were this beautiful thing in their hands. Like imagine you're like this beautiful vase, this beautiful golden thing that they have. And instead of them saying, I'm going to put you in the safest place, I'm going to honor how beautiful you are as a human being, I'm going to take care of you, I'm never going to put you in a position where you feel like you've been deceived or hurt or like something's wrong with you. Instead of doing that, they hold you for as long as it takes for you to no longer question whether you can trust them or not. And with all their force, they throw you on the ground and break you into a million pieces. So if that person comes to you and says, this is why I threw away everything we had. This is why I had the ability to break you in that way. This is why I had the ability to lie to you for so long. This. If they came to you and said that, does that take away from the fact that they just shattered you into a million pieces? You know the answer to that question. The one who broke you cannot heal you. The medicine cannot be in the same place that gave you something to heal from. The cure can't be in the poison. You are the only one who can heal you. It's time for words from me to you. And I don't know how to read all these words because they're 217 pages. So I don't think we have time for that. But these words are in my very next new book, The One Who Broke You Can't Heal You. This is probably the most important work I've ever written down. The most vulnerable writings I've ever put on paper. And I've been working on this for a couple of years, but I can assure you that my soul and my heart have been working on this for over a decade. And as I was writing this book, I was being as real and raw and honest with you about all the things that could be going on inside of you when you're thinking, but I really want them to come and apologize. But I think it would help if they just admitted what they did. I really wish that they would realize all the times they've gone wrong, and I get that. So this book has every answer that I've ever had. And I know it will change your life. Every single time I've gone over the manuscript myself, I've learned something new, which is weird because I wrote it and it hits me in a way where I'm like, wow, like this is what I was actually meaning. And I know it's going to do the same for you. The One Who Broke You Can't Heal You comes out August 25th of this year. You can pre-order now. I'll have all the links in the podcast episode description and in my bio on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, wherever you follow me. Pre-order it and let your soul begin anticipating the beautiful things that are going to come. And as the date approaches, I'm going to be putting out so much more content that's going to make this message be so solidified within you that by the time you get this book in your hands, and by the time maybe you listen to it in my voice, and by the time you get all the beautiful lessons that are inside, you will feel like you are at a place in your life where you take the front row seat, the driver's seat in your own life. And you no longer rely on people's empty apologies or people's empty acknowledgments or their attempts to gaslight you and minimize what you've been through. Even if those things are genuine, you should never rely on them for your own healing. And my goal is that by the end of you reading this book and listening to everything around it, you will feel like you are so empowered to see yourself as the leader of your healing. Go pre-order it. Share this episode with as many people as you possibly can. Leave me comments. If I've ever changed your life in any way, this is the time for you to show me and the world that this work is needed. Spread the word. Let as many people as you know about this, and let's make the world a more healing place and a more welcoming place for people like us who've been so damaged by the world around us, who are so empathetic and so sensitive and so real and authentic. Let's tell the world this is our world. We are powerful. If you would like me to read a short excerpt from the book on the podcast, just leave a comment or send me an email. However you want to reach out, let me know, and we can make that happen. I hope this episode helped you find healing beyond words. Can I say I know this episode helped you find healing beyond words? And until next time, have a wonderful day.